Welcome, yogis. We're going to get started with a full body, all around yoga practice that I'm calling a feel better flow. And feel better, I mean in a couple different respects. Of course, I want you to feel better at the end than when you started, but I also would like you to feel better the state of your body physically, emotionally. So we'll use the movement of the body and the flow of the breath just to invite some compassionate awareness for wherever we are at this moment. Let's get started actually straight away in downward facing dog. So you can come into it first through your tabletop position, so we can spread the fingers really nice and wide, get that feeling of the gentle pressure beneath each of your fingertips. We tuck the toes and just start to send the spine longer, the hips higher, as you allow your head to drop. Take some time just to work some movement down the backs of the legs by bending one knee at a time as you drop the opposite heel. Just walking out the dog, as we say. Maybe even some small movements of your head, loosening around the neck. And then let's find a way to make the legs match, and maybe you're in a place where you want to keep the knees bent for a few breaths, or we can start to reach the heels back and down, working more length into the backs of the legs. And then I just want you to spend some time here to breathe and invite more length from your wrists to your hips, and then from your hips down the backs of the legs to the heels. And taking some time here just to feel the body, feeling where you might be ready to move, feeling where you might be encountering some resistance. And without judging it, just observing, noticing, feeling. And we'll let ourselves take 2 more really nice full breaths. And imagine that you're expanding a little more laterally into the sides of the ribcage as you breathe in. Exhale, maybe feel as if we can draw the chest back even a little bit more. The hips go up a little bit more. One more breath, inhale. Let's breathe out here through an open mouth, release tension. And then we're going to walk the hands back toward the feet. You can bend your knees as you get close so that we feel ourselves just draping the upper body over the legs. The knees can be very bent. We're trying to find as long a neck as we can as we let the crown of the head spill down. Could feel nice here to grab a hold of opposite elbows and find your ragdoll position, or just allowing the arms to hang nice and long. Your next exhale, go out through an open mouth. Again, an opportunity to release some tension. Let's drop the arms nice and long. And keep the eyes closed for this, so that as we roll back up to a standing position, you're giving yourself that chance to really go by feel. Lose the visual and just feel your way into your best possible posture. The head draws up as the last thing to lift. Allow your palms to spin and face forward. And just feeling into this place in your body where you breathe best. Maybe we find tiny shifts of weight front to back, just to feel where the center is underfoot. And then gathering the palms together in front of your heart. Acknowledging that space behind your hands, your heart center. And maybe taking a moment to acknowledge whatever it is you're feeling there. Let's breathe into that space with a big inhale. And exhale, releasing your arms long at your sides. Now we'll open the eyes. You can let your arms circle out wide and up, reaching for the sky, maybe watching the palms touch. Let's exhale, draw the hands down the center. And as your palms touch down, we can bend the knees a lot, and we'll walk things back out all the way into plank position this time. So finding that nice line, reaching your heels back and the crown of the head forward, and just taking a pause here. Feel strength as you press the ground away. Breathe in. Let's do this first one with the knees down. We can untuck the toes as we slowly lower the body down, belly, chest, and chin. And then the reverse as you lift the chin and the chest, and maybe even feeling the lower ribs start to draw up. Feel that you're really working your back muscles here, not so much the hands. And release back down. As we tuck the toes, let's send the hips back toward the heel, so it's almost like you'd feel going into child's pose. Long spine, long arms. And you can kind of push off your toes to spring back into your plank position. And then draw the hips up and back, downward facing dog. Taking 3 full breaths here. Staying really in tune with the sensations of the body. Maybe each time we revisit this place, this shape, you can make a point to feel little shifts, little openings that start to occur slowly through the practice. Feeling the breath go out, open mouth. Let's once again walk the hands back toward the feet. Bending the knees as you get close. Letting ourselves drape the upper body down. And then as you press down into your feet, a big circle sweep of the arms wide and up, reaching for the sky. Gather the hands back into your heart space. Give yourself a pause to feel. Inhale, reaching for the sky. Exhale, pulling ourselves once again closer to the earth, touching the palms, maybe bending the knees very deeply. When you inhale, looking forward, starting to walk the hands all the way out into your plank position. Pausing for a moment, feel strength. You might place the knees down as we just did, or keep the legs straight this time. Find your way into your chaturanga, bending the elbows. Come to the tops of the feet if you're going to take upward facing dog, or you can just play with cobra again. And we pull the hips high and back, downward facing dog. Two more breaths. Release out through an open mouth. And let's walk the hands back to the feet. Taking that moment, maybe stretching a little more sensation to the backs of the legs, lifting the sit bones, dropping the head. And a big circle of the arms wide and up. Returning ourselves to that place where we feel centered, where the breath is flowing, connected to the sensations in your body. We'll start to add on to the movements. Inhale, reaching up. Exhale, forward fold. Start to walk all the way out into plank position. Lowering down. And then using an inhale to send your heart through. Pulling the hips high and back, down dog. Start to reach the right leg up and back. Find your 3-leg dog. And then as you bend the right knee, draw it all the way underneath you. Step the right foot between your hands. Settle the back knee softly down. You can stay right here or reach the arms to the sky. We find our low lunge. Allow the hands to land. And we'll draw the hips back. Start to find your half split. Maybe you'll get somewhere in this region, or we can rock up onto the right heel and really sink this outer right sit bone back. Feeling for the right amount of stretch for you. Good, and as we shift back into a bent right knee, I want you to bring your right hand inside of your right foot so that it's more like we're setting up for our lizard lunge. So just feeling the change in the sensation there. Taking a moment, breathing around the hips. And then we're going to tuck the back toes so the left knee lifts. And you're just going to turn all your toes to face that left side edge of your mat. The right knee still bent, the left leg still straight, coming down into your skandasana. Left toes can reach up toward the sky if you like. And you can also add right hand down, left arm toward the sky. Let your chest and your gaze roll upwards. Lowering the left hand if you've got it lifted. Frame your right foot, pivot back to face forward, and let's find a low twist. This time the left hand will stay down, right arm to the sky. Feel like you're turning your ribs open to the right. Lifting through the right arm so we're not just collapsing the weight into the left. And then bringing the right hand down. Step the right foot back into plank. Taking a vinyasa, or maybe just cutting right to down dog, depending on how you're feeling, right? And we are inviting more of that feeling state so that you can make that determination. Couple breaths in between sides. Moving into the second side, begin to lift your left leg up and back. Find your three-leg dog. As you curl the left knee underneath you, we'll just lightly place the left foot between the hands. Softly land your right knee down. And maybe keeping the hands low or starting to find more of that lift upwards toward the sky. Balancing what we allow to sink in the lower body and where we can find some lift, some float in the upper body. And then we'll draw the hands back down so that we can guide the hips back, keeping them centered. Moving into more stretch through the back of your left leg. And remember, if you need to keep the left knee a bit bent, that's all good. You'll still get stretch. Feel the spine stay long as you inhale. Exhale as you let the outer left hip roll back and down. As we come forward, you're going to switch the hand position, so both hands inside of the left foot as you bend your left knee. Just feel what's changed in the shape of the lunge, how that affects the sensation. And then to help us transition, we'll float the right knee up away from the ground. We're just going to turn the toes to the right side edge, and you might stay up here, or you can kind of sit closer toward your left heel, and the right ankle might flex so the right toes point up toward the sky. Option to bring the left hand down, right arm up toward the sky. And then we'll release, pivoting back to face forward into your simple lunge, and then adding that low twist. Right hand stays down, left arm to the sky. Open up wide across your chest, let your heart sing up. And as you exhale, placing the left hand down, step the left foot back. This is your time for a vinyasa, or you can just meet me in downward facing dog. Resetting here in the symmetrical place. Feeling better, the state of your body. And maybe you feel that you're still a bit stiff. And that's all good too. Just taking this time to invite in what it is we want to feel more of. And this time, let's walk the feet to the top of the mat, feet to the hands. Halfway lift. Take this opportunity to really extend the spine nice and long, crown of the head forward. And then as you exhale, bending the knees, your upper body becomes like that waterfall that pours over the front of the legs. And as we inhale, let's reach for the sky. And connect back into heart space, centered breath. A full inhale and exhale. We'll repeat that sequence, just coming into it a slightly different way and seeing if we can get a little bit closer toward one breath per movement so we feel more, think less. Arms to the sky, breathing in. As you exhale, let's sit it back. Find your chair pose. Feeling the power in your legs. Take one more breath in. Exhale, forward fold. As you breathe in, we'll just step the left foot back, landing the back knee down. And then the next in-breath, reaching for the sky. Exhale, drawing the hips back, feeling into your stretch. Take the inhale to set up into that lizard variation, hands inside of the right foot. And exhale for a moment here, just allow the hips to settle. Let's breathe in, pick up the back knee, and then as you breathe out, shifting all your toes to point to the left side edge of your mat. On the inhale, maybe letting the chest unfurl up toward the sky. And then exhale, let's realign ourselves back to center in lunge. Breathe in, find the twist, right arm to the sky. Breathe out, settle the right hand down, stepping the right foot back. Take one more inhale in plank. And you can go right to down dog or exhale, chaturanga. Inhale, upward facing dog. Exhaling back, downward facing dog. Invite more length. Invite more ease. And with the next breath in, feet step to the hands. Lengthen the spine. And let's keep that length as we find forward fold, bending the knees. Inhale, reaching up toward the sky. Exhale, hands come back to heart center. Again, reaching upwards. Exhale, sit the hips back. Find more power in your legs. Take a breath in. Breathing out, forward fold. Halfway lift. And this time we step the right foot back. Settle the right knee back down, finding your version of Anjaneyasana. If you're reaching the arms, inhale up toward the sky. Exhale is our opportunity to switch into stretch mode. Pull the hips back, half split. Inhale, rebend the left knee, bring the hands inside of the left foot. And exhale, just allow the hips to shift down. Inhale, picking up the back knee. And then with the exhale, let yourself find that turn. Settle a little more weight over the left foot. Right toes might point up. Inhale, maybe right arm to the sky, chest up. And exhale, come back to your centered, simple lunge. Inhale, left arm to the sky. Exhale, place the left hand down, step the left foot back. Take a breath in here. And with your exhale, either go straight back to down dog or move through your Vinyasa transition. Feel the body, feel the breath. One more round. Let's breathe together in and out. Moving slowly, thoughtfully, feet to the hands. And exhaling all breath out. Rise to stand, arms to the sky. Maybe inviting a little more arch back this time. Lift the heart. And coming back into tall standing position, pausing for a moment, grounding through the feet, feeling the body, the breath. As we open the eyes, let's prepare to balance, finding steadiness, inviting steadiness onto the right leg. And we'll start by bending the left knee and pulling it in and up. It doesn't need to be super high, maybe just the height of the hip. And then we'll start to point the left knee down so that your left heel comes in back behind you. We're going to work toward our dancer position, so left hand inside of the left foot. And let's keep the right hand to the heart for a moment and have a slight bend in the right knee. And as you shine your heart more forward, start to kick the left foot back and just starting to dance with the play of the breath and the coming and going of balance. And then like you're shining, extending some love from your heart forward, start to reach the right arm forward. And in opposition, kicking the left foot back. Find breath, let go of perfectionism. And really feel where you are. Feel that your breath is still continuing to flow. And let's slowly bring ourselves back up to standing on the right leg, left knee gathers in and up. And then a big step back with your left foot. Find your way into warrior two position. Letting the heels line up loosely. Arms reaching out nice and wide. Pausing to soften through the shoulders. To feel the strength in your legs. And to make sure that the right knee is tracking straight ahead. Let's keep the legs exactly as they are. Flip your right palm up to the sky, tipping the upper body back. Find more space in your right side waist. Yawning open the right side, maintaining the deep bend in your right knee. Breathe in and breathe out. Breathe in as we come upright with the torso. We'll press into the right foot, straighten the right leg, and then start to move your hips so that we get that tilt in the pelvis. Right hand reaches forward. Let the right hand drop down to the shin, left arm toward the sky. And then let's really find length in the left side too. So let your left palm face forward. Reach the left arm overhead so your left bicep is close in toward your left ear. Press into your left foot. Really light up your left side. Breathing fully into all those places that we are opening up. Let the inhale draw you back up into your warrior two. And the exhale, cartwheel the hands, framing the right foot. Take a vinyasa or meet me in down dog. One breath. Clearing out on the exhale. Stepping the feet forward to the hands. Breathing out, fold, exhale. Breathe in, reaching for the sky. Hands gathering back to your heart space. Preparing ourselves for the second side and letting ourselves just start from a clean slate. No expectations or anticipation. Shifting the weight into your left leg and just encountering things as they come. Staying in the present moment. Awareness of where you are. Bend the right knee, lift it. And then starting to set ourselves up toward dancer. Point the right knee down toward the floor. Little bend in the left knee. Place your right hand to the inner right foot, and let's start with left hand to the heart. So that feeling of leading from your heart space, from your feeling center, as you kick your right foot back. And you might expand it from there, stretching out from that heart line, left arm forward. Keep working the right foot back into your right hand. Finding breath, dancing along that line of balance. And really feeling that you're still breathing. Make that your priority, not the shape. And we gather ourselves back up to a standing position. Raise the right knee once more. And with your exhale, step the right foot back. Work the feet into position for your warrior two. And then settle into that powerful place with a deep bend in your left knee. Open up the arms. Feel the strength in your lower body, but also feel some ease across the shoulders, in the face. Your warrior is peaceful. Once you have that strong place in your legs, you'll maintain it as you flip the left palm up, sweep the left arm up and back, reverse your warrior. Take this opportunity to open up into your left side. Push strong into the left foot to straighten that leg as you come upright in the upper body. Let's reach as far forward as we can through the left fingertips. And as the left hand lands lightly, right arm reaches up. And then spin your palm forward, reach the right arm overhead. So now it's your time to open up the right side. Really firm into the press of your back foot, your right foot. Stretch long through the right fingertips. Breathe in to come back up into warrior two. Breathe out to dissolve that shape back into our plank position. That's where your decision point comes. We'll find each other in down dog. Feeling into the shape. Making every time that you find yourself here an opportunity for awareness or observing. And let's slowly step the feet forward, but keep them a little bit wider behind your hands. And we'll set ourselves up for a little flight time into crow pose. Really spreading fingers wide so we can use the fingertips to help us find that tipping point. And as you lean forward, just see about shifting the weight into your hands. And maybe this is a day where you can start to lift one foot and then the other, or the big toes begin to lift away and find each other. Keep the inner elbows firming toward one another. Breathe, and then slowly release. Let's bring ourselves down into our squat position. Hands moving to press against one another in front of your heart so that we can use the upper arms to maybe feel like we're gently prying the knees a little bit wider away from each other. And then let's keep that shape, but walk the hands way out in front and just allow your upper back to round. Letting ourselves find that spread of the shoulder blades, chin dropping in toward your chest. Feel more weight shift onto your palms. We'll step back into downward facing dog. From here, reach your right leg up and back. We revisit our three-leg dog. We're gonna bend the right knee this time and feel the turn in the hips. Get some really nice space over the front of your right hip. Your right heel can fall toward your left glutes. Pressing into the right hand a lot. And then let's keep the right knee bent. Pull it in underneath you as you shift the shoulders more forward. And then this right foot is gonna kick underneath you and over to the left. Let your back heel come down. Let the left arm move up toward the sky. Let the hips find just a little bit more lift. And then let's start by lowering the left palm and just reverse that process. So lift the left heel, the right knee comes back in underneath you. And then this time the right foot's gonna kick out to the right and let your left knee come down. So that as we set this up, the left knee and the right foot are in line with each other. Bring the hands back underneath your shoulders. And now let's reach the right arm up to the sky, turning the chest to the right. And you might even see if you can let the chest really spin upwards. It's almost like the right hand wants to fall back behind you. And we'll bring the right hand back down. Good. And then we're going to shift the hips back. So it's almost like we're doing child's pose again with just this left knee underneath us. I like to keep my toes tucked under because it's a nice stretch for the sole of the foot. But you can also just come down onto the top of your left foot. The right leg is still straight. You're reaching out through that outer edge of your right foot to maybe feel a little more sensation in your inner right leg. Let's inhale, bringing ourselves back up onto the hands and the left knee. And then keeping the left toes tucked under, let's now sweep the right leg straight back behind us. And then you'll pick up your left knee and draw straight away up and back into your three-leg dog again, where we started all this. Breathe in, reach the right heel high. And right knee bends again, and this time we're gonna bring it behind the right wrist for pigeon position. As you let the hips drop, you can slide your left foot way back so there's a sense of moving everything back. Relaxing the back foot in a way that feels good to you. And then just taking a moment to feel where you want to be in this pose. And maybe it's right here, staying upright. Or maybe you'll decide that coming down closer to the ground feels more soothing, allows you to feel your sweet spot into the stretch. Pigeon is a great pose for us to invite that deeper feeling state. So we'll give ourselves a minute or so here. Drawing your awareness over your whole body so that you can feel if you are holding tension in places you don't need to be, like the jaw, the brow, the hands. Let them be soft. Feeling softness in that space between your shoulder blades. And let's feel ourselves really inflate that place with a breath in, expand the back body. Relax your jaw, breathe out through an open mouth. Do that a couple more times. Just feeling this sense of almost like float when you breathe in. And then giving into gravity when you breathe out. Using the in-breath to start to find our way back to a more upright shape. Pressing onto the palms. Let's tuck the back toes, lift up the left knee, and just step the right foot back into your downward facing dog. Begin on this side by lifting the left heel toward the sky. We're going to bend the left knee this time. Feel for that turn in your hips. Let's steadying through the shoulders. Letting the left knee reach skyward, keeping the right heel dropping back and down. And then keeping the left knee bent, bring it underneath your chest, shifting the shoulders more forward, squeezing the left knee in and up. And then we're going to shoot the left foot underneath and over to the right. Let your right heel spin down. Let the right arm lift up toward the sky. And as the right arm lifts, like feel that helps lift your hips higher up. Press the floor away underneath you. And then the right hand lands. And we start to pull the right heel up away from the ground. Suck the left knee back up underneath you. And then step it out to the left this time as the right knee lands. Good. Let's just find our lineups. Your foot is in line with your knee, hands underneath the shoulders. Let the left arm rotate up toward the sky. Turning the heart open. Getting that sensation of twist, helping to wring out anything we want to release from the body. And slowly bringing the left hand down. This is where you might choose to tuck or untuck your right toes. And let's start to pull the hips back. And maybe walk the hands more forward. Getting lower to the ground as it suits you. Slowly beginning to find our way back up into a tabletop, except for the left leg. And then start to float the left leg straight back behind you. Your right toes are tucked under, so we can just roll over them and kick up into that three-leg dog once again. Bending the left knee, drawing it behind your left wrist. Finding our way into our pigeon position. Working the right foot back, letting the right leg lengthen back behind you. Pausing to settle into that more feeling approach. So rather than just trying to make this side look exactly how your first side was, really give yourself the space to feel where you need to be on this side. It might be very different from the first side. Making time and space to fill up the body more on every inhale. And to release into the support of the earth beneath us every exhale. So much of our daily rhythm is about moving, moving, moving. It's so important for us to take these pauses to notice, to check in with ourselves. With the next inhale, let's bring ourselves back, more upright, tucking the back toes, lifting the hips, just stepping the left foot back into downward facing dog. A full breath in and out here. And let's walk the feet to the top of the mat, lengthening up part way. And exhaling into forward fold. Maybe starting to feel that you've got a little bit more space through the back line of the legs to press the legs a little bit straighter, feeling your sit bones lift. Your hip flexors turn on to help the pelvis tilt. And then lean a little bit more weight forward into your fingertips or your hands, and let's step the feet a touch wider than hips distance. Settle more weight into the feet, finding your fold. And let's start to bend the knees, sending the hips way back. And I want you to feel that your spine becomes parallel to the floor, and let's reach the arms forward now. A long line from your fingertips back through your sit bones. And then as you gather your hands in toward your heart, let's see if we can just drop the seat down. If you have to use your hands, that's all good. Nice work. Plant the feet a little ways out in front of you. And let's bring the hands back behind the hips. And we'll have the fingertips angled out slightly, or if it feels okay, you can turn them all the way to face forward. Let's work on a reverse tabletop. I'm taking a moment just to soften, almost like you're kind of collapsing the chest in toward itself, rounding the shoulders. And then as we inhale, let's do the opposite. We're going to boost the chest, press into the feet, lift the hips, and find like that tabletop surface from your knees to your shoulders. You can keep looking down the front line of your body, or if it feels okay, allow the head to tip back, open up the throat. One more inhale, feel some lift from underneath you. And exhale, slowly landing your seat. We're going to do one more, and you've got the option now of straightening your legs so that we come into a reverse plank, or you can do the same one with the knees bent. So taking a moment, let's once again soften, letting ourselves around, and then on the in-breath, starting to lift the hips. If you're taking your reverse tabletop now, point the toes forward, soles of the feet press down, lifting from underneath. Maybe the head drops back, finding all of that power in the back line of the body to lift just a little bit more. Breathe in. And then exhale, slowly lowering down. Nice work. Coming to a tall seated position. Let's keep the left leg straight. Bring your right foot outside of the left thigh. And as we hug ourselves in closer to the right thigh, get really, really, really tall. Starting to add a little bit more turn. If you like, right hand goes behind you. I'm keeping my left foot super active, pressing the left toes up toward the sky. Start to let your rib cage revolve to the right. Keep inviting the right knee more toward the left. So you get a little more space in the outer right hip as well. Let's face back to center, and then just placing the right knee on top of the left. So this would be like your half Gomukhasana, or if you like, you can also bend your left knee so that the legs are lined up on top of each other. Finding a really tall seat, right? Another deep hip opener that's going to ask us to feel. So let yourself just settle into it. Don't force anything, and don't bypass these opportunities to feel, especially at the initial breaths in the pose. Maybe this is enough right here. But as you feel what your body needs, what your heart needs, maybe adding a little bit more forward tilt. And as the hands come forward, instead of feeling yourself like you're pulling forward, actually use your hands to press your sit bones back. And just notice the feet can stay a little bit more active here. A gentle flex at the ankle, feeling the toes spread wide. Breathe a lot of space into the low back, the back of the pelvis. And soften through the shoulders on this next exhale. And inhale to come all the way back up to a seat. Good. Straightening out the legs just to set up our other side. Keeping the right heel pressing forward, bend your left knee and place the left foot outside of your right thigh. Using the arms to just gently hug the left thigh in closer to your chest. So there's less space between your torso and your left thigh. Keeping it there, we're starting to revolve the spine a little bit more. We turn the ribs, the chest to the left. You can bring your left hand behind you. Keeping the spine really tall. Feeling into it for one more breath. And as we come out of the twist, you'll place your left knee more on top of the right knee. And for many of us, that's all good right there. Or you can choose to bend your right knee so that your right heel comes more outside of your left thigh. Taking those initial breaths just to feel, not trying to force the shape to look like the one that you just made on your other side. Making space with compassion, with awareness for where you need to be right here. And if you're feeling it, starting to angle the heart a little bit more forward. Hands can walk a bit forward, but you're using the hands to gently push and anchor the sit bones back even more. Using the next couple breaths, just feeling where you can soften a bit more. And breathe in and release the shape of the legs. Bring ourselves onto our backs, the knees pulling in toward your chest. And giving ourselves just a moment to feel the back body falling into the ground beneath us. You can use your hands to let the knees drop in toward your chest, maybe even a little tighter. Or if some movement feels good to you, using your hands to steer the knees into a circular motion. Until we find our way back to center. Yourself one last squeeze, move your forehead to the knees. Then slowly dropping the legs into Shavasana. I know when you practice at home, it's really tempting to cut short and skip Shavasana, but we're trying to feel better here. So give yourself at least a few breaths. Lengthening the legs. Letting all of your body weight release down into the ground, but feeling how your breath still stays light and buoyant. You breathe in, there's that feeling of expanding, floating up through the belly, the chest. And exhale, feeling the support of the earth beneath you. Just make a little space for yourself here to feel better. Acknowledging what you feel in this moment, whatever it is, without judgment, with a compassionate awareness. And maybe even making a little space to draw in a feeling of gratitude. Let's feel the breath again, coming in a deep inhale, first into the belly, then into the chest. Let's hold it for a pause. Open mouth, exhale. Little movements, taking your time to guide your way back up into a seated position. One last breath of acknowledgement. Drawing the chin toward your chest, this heart space, a bow to that place, our feeling center. I hope you are indeed feeling better at the end of this yoga practice. Thank you so much for joining me. I don't have a super regular posting schedule for videos, so the best way to stay in the know is to subscribe. And I look forward to practicing yoga with you again soon. Have a beautiful rest of your day. Thank you.